So the way we spell this name, we're not going to pronounce it, we're not going to try and say it in our head even. It's a very holy level of reality. It's actually the true one God in the Jewish faith, but also we're talking about here in the Kabbalistic version. They really analyze all of the features and all of the aspects and all of the qualities that can be inferred or taken away from what we're learning. So in the name of God exists all of the secrets of the world. In fact, in the first letter of the name of God exists all the secrets. And that starts with the letter Yud. The letter Yud has a geometrical value of 10. We know that there are Hebrew numerical values assigned to each and every single of the 22 Hebrew letters. Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel is 3, and so on and so forth. And then we start going by tens and then hundreds. So we end with Taf, which is 400. But the Yud here is a value of 10. Then we have Hey. The Hey is a value of 5. And the Vav is a value of 6. And the Hey is another 5. So if we add these together, we get Yud, which is 10. Hey, which is 5. Vav, which is 6. And a second Hey, which is 5. It adds together to get 26. This is the Hebrew numerical value of the name of God, basically. Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. And some people take the stringent approach. They don't even use the proper letters when even pronouncing the letters of the name. They will say Yud, K, Vav, K, so as to turn the Hey into a K, which is a Kuf. However, if you hear someone spelling it out, it's not actually an issue, especially if they are teaching. If they're in the middle of teaching, you're allowed to pronounce some of the other names of God, which are permittable. But by the way, this name is not permittable to be spoken. You shouldn't think it while you're in the bathroom. You should not write it down, because if you write it down, then you're not allowed to erase it. So it's a very, very big thing to be aware of, because this is actually a biblical prohibition, just so we know, not to write the name of God. And then also, whenever we pronounce the name, we can't pronounce it because we don't have the Beit HaMikdash. There's a rule in place that until we establish or build the Temple of Jerusalem, and even then, we wouldn't be saying it. The Kohen Gadol, who is the high priest at that time, is the only one who's allowed to say it, and only during specific times, because, again, this is the deepest level of reality that exists. And so we have to have lots of respect, lots of awe in thinking about this name. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. Now, the Yud, we said, is pertaining to the number 10, but if we look, it actually corresponds to, on the Tree of Life diagram, by the way, I'm going to put it on the screen for those of you watching on YouTube and associated platforms, but if you are on Spotify or you're not able to see your screen, then search it up on your phone. This is very important to have, at least as a reference, while we're speaking in these podcasts, because we are going to bring up this Etz HaChaim, this Tree of Life diagram, a lot, because, well, that is the diagram of the Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. And we're going to learn exactly how. But this tree diagram that you're looking at, if you're watching online, is a representation, a visual way of imagining or understanding the system of Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. So this Yud at the top actually corresponds to the Sfira of Chokhmah. Now these are 10 Sfirot that we see on the image, on the screen. The Sfira of Chokhmah corresponds to the Yud, and we call that Bechinat Aleph. It's the first letter, so we call it Bechinat Aleph. Aleph means 1. Bechinat means phase. So in English, it's phase 1. If you want to do it in English or Hebrew, it's up to you. But the Yud is phase 1. It corresponds to the Sfira of Chokhmah. The Hey is phase 2, letter 2. It corresponds to the Sfira of Bina, and we call it Bechinat Bet, phase 2. The Vav in the name is Bechinat Gimel. It's the third letter, phase 3. This corresponds to Zeir Anpin, and as we know, Zeir Anpin is comprised of 6 Sfirot, being Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. So those are the 6 corresponding to Bechinat Gimel. And Bechinat Dalid is phase 4. Excuse me, the Hey at the end, the second Hey, is Bechinat Dalid, which is phase 4. And this corresponds to the Sfira of Malchut. So the Yud is Chokhmah. The Hey is Binah. Vav, Zeir Anpin. Hey, Malchut. But we are missing one. As you can see at the top, we're missing Keter, the first Sfirah, the crown, the highest point in the Tree of Life diagram. Why is this not being represented by the Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey? What's going on? So if we analyze the Yud really closely, we'll notice that at the top of this letter exists a crown. In fact, this crown symbolizes Keter. That crown, we call it a kutz in Hebrew. Kutz. Kutz means thorn. It's like a little bit of a thorn or a little bit of a piece or a crown, as we call it in Hebrew, corresponding to the Sfira of Keter, which we call this Bechinat Shel Shoresh, meaning the phase corresponding to the source. But we can call it phase 0. Phase 0 if you really want to go there. It's before phase 1, so phase 0 is the source, so we can call that Bechinat Shoresh. So here we have it. The Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey actually embody the representation of the Etz HaChaim. And now that means that anytime you're learning about any of these Sfirot, anytime you're learning about the Etz HaChaim structure, keep in your mind that you are actually learning about the name of God. And that exists everywhere. And you will be able to see signs anywhere you go. As you walk, you're going to work, you find this number, 26. 26. You know that there is a message that's being transmitted from somewhere out in the world. And someone's trying to reach out to you and say, I'm here. I'm there. That number corresponds to the name of God. So, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I hope to do more of these in the future. If you found this interesting, make sure to let me know. I'm going to put a option on the website. Again, if you want to reach out to the website, you can click on the link in my bio on Instagram. Right now, we're only on Instagram and YouTube. But you can go to youtube.com/Ein Sof Learning, EINSOF LEARNING, or check out Ein Sof Learning on Instagram, and you will be able to contact me there as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will hope to see you guys in the next episode.